From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening and thanks for trusting MTN. I'm Tim McGonigal. Hallie Schwinnard is off tonight. This was the scene earlier as President Trump was transported to Walter Reed Medical Center after he and the First Lady tested positive for COVID-19. The president was tested after Hope Hicks, a close aide, also tested positive. Joe Biden, who had a prolonged exposure to the president during Tuesday's debate, tested negative today. Meanwhile, taking a look at the numbers in Montana, the state reported 360 new cases today. The death toll has risen to 187. Of the more than 14,000 cases, nearly 9,800 have recovered. Well, October began the same way September ended in Montana, with new COVID-19 case numbers topping 300 for multiple days in a row. On September 30th, White House Coronavirus Task Force Response Coordinator Dr. Deborah Birx told MTN that she was concerned about the spread of coronavirus in Montana. Cascade City County Health Officer Tricia Gardner said the rising numbers can be partially attributed to exponential growth of the virus, but also to many people not taking it seriously. Gardner says the recent spike can also be traced back to Labor Day get-togethers and communal outbreaks like the one at the Cascade County Detention Center. Despite that, she doesn't think schools need to make a big adjustment just yet.
The most important thing that we need to remember is a lot of these cases are originating from settings outside of school and work facilities. It's when people are letting down their guard, becoming a little bit more relaxed.
Although health officials haven't designated a specific benchmark for the state to consider another stay-at-home order, Gardner says it's not out of the question. Well, as flu season approaches, the Cascade City County Health Department is also warning of the dangers of overcrowding hospitals. We reported earlier this week that Benefice Health System is currently operating at 115% capacity with 37 coronavirus patients in intensive care. As the cases rise, some healthcare workers are concerned about the hospital's visitation policies. MTN's Zach Shermley shows us how those policies have evolved throughout the pandemic.
Health officials here at Benefice Health System say they do have enough supplies and capacity to deal with the rising coronavirus cases across the county, that despite the 115% overcapacity number cited at the governor's press conference earlier this week. But Benefice employees have expressed concern with MTN News over the hospital's visitation policies.
It really started to hit Benefice in a big way in March.
Benefice closed to most visitors on March 30th with few exceptions for the birth center, the NICU, and hospice. It reopened on June 25th with restrictions, and as Chief Medical Officer Dr. Greg Tierney explains.
So we just essentially changed our visitor policy to a managed policy. So it is a limited visitation policy. You can't come in here with 15 or 20 different people.
The new visitor policy has some employees concerned. One of them, who wished to remain anonymous, reached out to MTN News saying there has been no response to staff questions about limiting visitation. They added that guests are often non-compliant with mask ordinances. On masks, Tierney says,
sometimes there are breakdowns, there's no doubt about it.
When it comes to addressing concerns about rising coronavirus cases,
it offers us an opportunity to go back and visit whether we're communicating with our employees and our staff enough.
The other major hospital in town is the Great Falls Clinic, which has almost completely limited visitors with few exceptions since March. But it's important to remember that the clinic and Benefice are very different facilities.
Mainly due to the fact that we're a smaller organization.
The Cascade City County Health Department says deciding on visitation policies is mostly up to the individual facilities.
Every entity does have that right to choose.
Cascade City County Health Department will continue to advise both Benefice and the Great Falls Clinic about visitation policies in Great Falls. I'm Zach Shermley, MTN News.
Both Benefice and the Great Falls Clinic require mask wearing for most patients, staff, and visitors. Well, there's good news for you on this weekend's forecast. It's going to be just about perfect for getting outside and enjoying a fall day. Joining us now with a quick look is MTN's Elizabeth Copeland.
It was another beautiful day across Montana as that high pressure continues to be really our weather story really for the beginning of the week, and that's going to last all the way through the weekend and even into next week. So a few clouds here and there really across southeast Montana. You might see a cloud on the horizon across the northeast a little later this evening, but overall we are looking dry, spotless, and lots of sunshine overhead, which has warmed us up quite a bit. Yesterday we had a few clouds over our area, a disturbance trying to make its way in. We didn't get any rain out of that, but it was slightly cooler. Today we're back in the 70s and upper 60s, so it was a very warm day across our area, and we're going to continue to see the warmer than average conditions really through the weekend as well. So out of our Opportunity Bank ICAM in the capital city, again, blue skies overhead, a little haze on the horizon that has fluctuated some of that air quality earlier this afternoon, but we're going to continue tracking more of that haze in the forecast and what that means for our air quality as we head to the weekend and even into next week coming up shortly in our extended forecast.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Counties across Montana officially opened in-person early voting today. 45 Montana counties have switched to a mail ballot election in response to COVID-19. That means ballots will be sent out to all active registered voters next Friday. However, the governor's directive that allowed counties to use mail ballots also required that they offer an in-person voting option. Many of those voting today will be out of town when the ballots are mailed out. Jeremy Johnson, an associate professor of political science at Carroll College, says he expects more Montanans than ever to vote early.
Even before COVID, we've seen in each election cycle, we see more and more people voting early, and it will almost certainly be a record number this year again, particularly with COVID, and particularly as people just get comfortable with the early voting options in Montana.
The start of voting also comes as the news that President Donald Trump tested positive for COVID-19 has dominated the national discussion, but Johnson says we'll have to wait and see how this story develops in the coming weeks. Well, in debates last week between Montana's two U.S. House candidates, Republican Matt Rosendale pointed out that the campaign of Democrat Kathleen Williams is paying her a salary. He then used that fact to criticize Williams, saying she wants to use taxpayer funds to pay for that salary. MTN's Mike Dennison looked into this charge and tells us what he found.
Matt Rosendale made the claim twice last week, including this comment in Saturday's debate sponsored by MTN News.
I find it fascinating that my opponent just brought in the campaign funding formulas that people are considering now, as she's looking to use your taxpayers' dollars to support $5 million of her campaign. While at the same time, her campaign is paying her a salary.
First, Williams is not seeking to use taxpayer dollars to fund her current campaign, and she hasn't raised anything near $5 million. Rosendale is referring to her express support of a 2019 House bill that would create a federal fund to help finance candidates running for Congress. That money would come from fines paid by corporations for malfeasance, not general taxpayers. But her campaign is paying her a monthly salary of $3,000. She explained why on Saturday in response to Rosendale's criticism.
I do take a small salary from my campaign. It's not taxpayer dollars, just like Vice President Pence did when he ran for Congress. So I'm not a wealthy millionaire. I need to be able to support myself to be able to run. I put aside a successful career to do this.
That $3,000 a month payment is equivalent to about $17 an hour. Williams also pays payroll taxes on the money, so her campaign take-home is about $2,400 every 4 weeks. Federal Election Commission rules allow candidates for Congress to receive a salary from their campaign, but only after the candidate filing deadline. Williams' campaign says it wasn't initially aware of that rule, and that's why she paid back the campaign $12,500 last September for salary payments made before the deadline. The salary payments resumed after the March 9th deadline this year. Williams' campaign notes that her campaign money is entirely from private donors. It also notes that since Rosendale has been state insurance commissioner, getting paid by the public, he spent 70% of his time running for other offices. The Rosendale campaign says his record as insurance commissioner speaks for itself and that he's serving the people of Montana well. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Several other statewide office holders are running for other offices this year, like Governor Steve Bullock, Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney, and Congressman Greg Gianforte. Cooney and Gianforte will face off in a debate tomorrow night right here on MTN. The candidates for governor will answer questions from our panelists, including Mike Dennison, Jill Valley, and Jay Cohn. You can watch it live at 6 tomorrow night or with the KRTV streaming app for Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV. Ahead, new life for a popular recycling program in central Montana. We'll share the comeback story after the break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. After being shut down for about a month, a popular Central Montana recycling program is back. The shutdown was initially thought to mean the end of the program for good, but as MTN's Coulter Anstad explains, the volunteers who run it were determined to bring it back.
Bag by bag, Recycle Our Waste Lewistown volunteers sorted and compacted plastic of all shapes and sizes Friday morning. Unfortunately, not everything could be recycled.
This is stuff for the landfill.
Only number 1 and number 2 plastic gets compacted and sent to Billings to be recycled because that's all the company the program is currently working with will take. It's better than the alternative, though, which had been the reality since the company that was previously taking the plastic shut down.
We all got rid of the plastic we had and we took it out to the dump.
Program manager Rosemary Kent said that reality is not something residents in and around Lewistown wanted to accept.
When we shut down, I heard just a lot from everyone about the disappointment in having it shut down and how painful it was to throw that milk jug in the trash.
Kent went to work and was able to find another company in Billings that would take the recycle. The program officially restarted last week, but Friday was the first day processing plastic since the restart. Jim Hamling is captain of the team of volunteers working Friday. With many of the volunteers being older, the work isn't always easy, but Hamling had a smile on his face all morning.
A couple places bring us shrink wrap. Those bales are about 140 pounds or so it takes a couple of us to lift it off.
Like much of the plastic, the message, Kent says, is clear.
This is our little part of the world, and we can impact it in our own way here.
In Lewistown, Coulter Anstad, MTN News.
A Great Falls man is taking over as head of a long-standing accounting firm in Montana. Rick Reisig is now CEO of Anderson Zermulin. Anderson Zermulin has been around for 63 years with 7 locations across the state. They've expanded from traditional accounting, tax, and audit services to technology services as well, with AZTS based in Helena. Reisig has been with the company since 2011. He's the company's first CEO to be based in Great Falls instead of Helena.
I'm looking forward to a different train of thought. I'm looking forward to doing whatever I can to make sure our employees are as successful as they can possibly be.
Reisig oversees 230 employees. He takes over for Don Lane, who served as CEO for the past decade.
A few more beautiful sunsets in store for us across the next few days, but what does that mean for daytime temperatures? We'll have more on weekend forecasts coming up next.
Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland.
Welcome back on this Friday evening. We've made it to the weekend, and what a beautiful end to at least September, beginning of October, and even into our work week as we have mostly blue skies above. So high pressure really been the weather story these last few days, and that's going to continue to be the weather story as we head into next week as well. So a lot more of this is going to be occurring with a few clouds here and there, but otherwise dry, warm, and lots of blue sky overhead otherwise. So we've got a lot more of those conditions in store for us out of our U.S. Bank ICAM out of Great Falls right now, where it's 70 degrees, nothing but sunshine out there as well, blue on the horizon, and the dew point's at 37 degrees, so it's pretty dry out there as well. We've had this dry spell in our forecast about a week and a half or so with a clear 10 miles of visibility, but even though we have 10 miles of visibility, which you typically have on a beautiful clear day, you do see a little haze in the and that's kind of been fluctuating on and off throughout the afternoon and really been affecting our air quality. Earlier this afternoon, places like Great Falls, Helena, and even Havre had that moderate air quality. Again, this wildfire smoke is not expected to be a major impact on air quality, especially if you go backwards about 2 or 3 weeks ago where we just had that really thick smoke in our area. Well, today the only place unhealthy for sensitive groups is going to be Malta, and we're going to see these air qualities really fluctuate right between good and moderate for the most part for tonight and tomorrow morning. And that's all because this high pressure system, again, not only keeping us dry and warm, but allowing a little bit more of that upper air to start filtering into parts of central Montana. So we've been seeing a little bit more. This is smoke again from the wildfires across the west coast, Washington and Oregon filter in, and that's kind of where this air has been coming from these last few days. So do do expect a little haze in the horizon, especially as we head into Saturday. But the good news is there's nothing but sunshine in our forecast. And again, no major impacts are still expected from that wildfire smoke. Now we start to get a shift in that at least high pressure system a little bit later on Sunday. That's not going to really bring about any rain shower chances or anything, but we are going to see a slight drop in temperatures as we just get more of that zonal flow. So basically air right from our west, a little cooler than that southwest air we've been getting. So our drought monitor, because of these prolonged dry spells, has really increased across the state. Across the northeast corner here, severe drought conditions have now just started popping up with moderate right around that. So places like Opine, Plentywood really needing that water, and we're just not going to get it these next few days with, again, that really big ridge just hanging strong across our area. We're not looking at too many shower chances in the next 7 days, but we do have some changes in our extended forecast, which is good news. But until then, we're still tracking even our own fire danger. So we're getting some wildfire smoke from western parts of the U.S., but in our own area, we're going to look at more of that fire danger come Sunday when wind starts to pick back up. 20-30 mile per hour gusts, especially across the Rocky Mountain front. North central Montana is our main focus here. And then fire weather watch goes into effect for those same areas on Sunday, because not only the wind, but 10-20% relative humidity. That's going to really dry us out even more, and that's where that fire danger comes to play. So over the next 7 days, though, looking at a lot of sunshine. Again, that dry air continues to dry out that soil, and we're going to see the breezy conditions pick up Sunday, which is we have that fire weather watch for north central Montana in play. 80 degrees on Sunday afternoon, upper 70s for the rest of us for the rest of the week. So that high pressure not allowing any of that rain back in the forecast. We hold steady in those mid 70s through next week.
Well, the game has been canceled, but homecoming activities at Great Falls High are moving full speed ahead. We'll share the highlights next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Great Falls High School's homecoming football game was canceled due to COVID-19 concerns against Belgrade, but the Bison still found time to celebrate homecoming Friday afternoon. Cars circled the Expo Park Fairgrounds for a reverse homecoming parade. Parents and students and staff parked their floats along a designated route and waved to hundreds of passing vehicles. After the parade, Great Falls High crowned homecoming royalty. The Bison made the best of the situation, but the football team is still disappointed they didn't get to play.
I was really hoping to play a game tomorrow, but you know, it's COVID and we can't really do anything about it, and it just really sucks. But I get it, you gotta protect everyone through it, and so I know we gotta try to get past through these hard times.
So the Bison will turn their attention towards next week's opponent, Billings West, and we'll be right back.
70s in the forecast for Saturday in Great Falls. A little breezy on Sunday. A fire weather watch in effect for the Rocky Mountain front and north central Montana. And then we're going to see those 70s remain in the forecast. Very dry air sticks around as we hit 75 on Sunday. Nothing but sunshine in the forecast for the capital city. We'll hold steady in the mid 70s through Friday.
Well, people who drink coffee to wake up first thing in the morning might want to wait until after breakfast. Researchers in the UK found people who drank coffee before breakfast lowered their body's ability to control blood sugar levels by 50%. Authors of the study say the results show coffee can solve one problem by making someone feel awake, but cause another by impacting the metabolism. They say results show it's better to wait a few minutes for that first cup of coffee rather than risk the possible health impact of not controlling blood sugar. All right, that's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.